want to start off by saying a prayer. I want to thank God for life itself, for blessings, for lessons, for my mental, for my physical, for my connection with them, and things in this world that allow me to function properly and allow my life to function the way it does, to allow things to be the way they are. I thank Him for our freedom that He allows us here, and that I thank Him in this earth and the things in it for everything that it is. I did my first episode and I feel like I did exactly what I said I would do. I just ran it a little bit, kind of like said some things. I hope they was positive. I hope they made sense. I hope the message that I was trying to convey to people was clear. Today, I actually have a topic that I want to speak on and a message that I want to kind of talk about. And being that I feel like I should kind of get right to it, I'm going to get right to it. Black people need reparations. Let me say that again. Black people need reparations. We don't need Black History Month. No, we don't need that. We don't need Black Lives Matter movements. We don't need that. NAACP. We just don't need that. What we need, hear me out. Black Panthers. We don't need that. Hear me out though. What we need is to realize we don't have to, everything that's understood does not need to be explained. We know what we need. We need to be recognized and treated fairly as people in this country by this government that is in control. The government that is in control of this country is treating our people unfairly. Now, we can go down a long list of history facts to prove this. Since 1600 till 2025, our people have been systematically treated unfairly in this country by this government and has gone unrecognized by the people, by the government, by countries, other countries, for way too long. We need reparations. Now, I know the topic of reparations brings up a bunch of emotions, a bunch of ideas, a bunch of, oh, well, how would it work? They not gonna do it. Well, listen, we 48 million Black people who identify in America, that was in 2023, which is probably higher, 50 million or so, need to demand this. While we voting on these senators, these governors, these politicians, we need to be demanding this. While we sending our kids to these schools and participating in these games, in these events, we need to demand this. That is how we will get reparations. Now, we understand, let's start again with the history, that we were African descendants, they claim, brought here by ship, enslaved here for over 200 years, fought in tribal wars, state wars, as slaves still, not freedmen, as slaves still. And then we fought in a war for our freedom in this country, right? But they still treated us unfairly. The system said we were 3/5 of a man. They treated us unfairly. So then we go another 100 years, 150 something years, being treated unfairly, civilly unfairly, going through countless murders, torture, abuse. We don't need to speak on this. Our school systems teach us and keep us informed, right? But yet no one speaks on the reparations or the consequences that had on our people, right? So we go through a civil rights movement to become equal or gain equal rights in this country, right? And this is not to just mention everything that has passed, everything that has gone down, all the inventions and patents taken, all the ideas stolen, all the families broken, all the people took, all the things our people went through, and not being able to be allowed to be people in society normally, right? So this is all taking place in this country, and I am a U.S. citizen, so feel it's fair for me to speak on my history. So we gain equal rights in this country, yet when we look at all the statistics, all the things that we know, that our people were left out systematically for so long, and that our people was held down and kept captive from so long, and tortured with, and just annihilated with, all this information, all these deeds done, but no retribution from this same country. And it asks you, it makes you ask, because the facts ask you, what are you gonna do, or how does this make you feel, or why would you still be here? Because I don't feel this country is understanding exactly what it is they've done to our people, or they're not truly acknowledging it or being able to acknowledge it because of whatever policies or politics go on behind closed doors. But the facts still remain the same about all the CIA involvement in the black community, and the government policies made that affected majority of black families and African Americans. And for us to be African Americans, fought in wars, fought for our rights here, and do all these things and say that, well, we equal now, but not be able to be given this chance to be equal. Because life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. History is long. Life is short. History is real ugly. But it's life. And it's just what it was, and it doesn't have to be this way because of history. But if we don't change what it is that we do, how can we change it is what we are? I know I may have lost some people right there, so let me bring you back to say, I'm seeing a lot of things today, right, where I'm seeing all these different states get RICO cases, right? RICO cases. And I'm seeing a lot of majority minorities on these RICO cases and things of that nature, right? And I said one day, why has the KKK never ever been indicted? Like, for them to be the biggest hate group, and I'm pretty sure a hate group should fall under some sort of terrorist group, for them to exist in the same country that is arresting all these other people for what they claim to be terroristic type crimes, it's starting to make you wonder, right? So hold that thought, right? So I say one day, so when they doing these RICOs, right? When they go about doing these investigations, these RICO investigations, right? I'm pretty sure they have some cops, right, that's been patrolling these neighborhoods and working these areas, getting informants, paying informants, right? I'm pretty sure they got some informants who probably made a couple control buys, so they making control buys, right? Let's take it a little higher, just a little higher. I'm pretty sure they're networking on a level to where they're connecting sources to buyers to investigate these things, right? So they're doing this state by state by state by state by state. It's the cat and mouse game, state by state by state. But people be like, okay, it's just a cat and mouse game, don't play it. But what's happening is they take all this money from taxpayers and all these funds and all these human beings off the street, and people die and all these things happen that we don't get to know about and really understand, all because one person claimed they were cleaning, remember that, cleaning the streets, right? So you say, okay, so why not, instead of you investing into selling drugs or sourcing products or finding buyers or surveilling people, you spend money on resource centers and group homes and rehab facilities and hospitals and cures and things of this nature, right? But I guess people fiddle their thumbs on that part, or ears get popped, or I don't know what happens. But it's the same way in government. They have no body up there to be doing right now. There's no doing right now. Like, I don't want to lose what I'm saying because I know I'm kind of venturing off, but this is part of it. So all this money that gets spent, right? And I said, back to reparations. what would reparations look like for black people? And I'll get back on my other topic of why the government could afford the reparations. They just choose to throw all these other obstacles and problems in the way and sugarcoat us. But it will look like this. When the government freed the slaves on the Emancipation Proclamation, they said that there was a promise that we still, I guess, can't find on paper or in record books, or I guess they do acknowledge it, the 40 acre and the mule thing, or that we were supposed to get some land for being free citizens, and we were supposed to be able to get land, and we know that our people were never given this land. Some people even had their land took. We do know that our people eventually even became a part of society, still bought their own land and had that land took. We even know that during the KKK period that a lot of black families were being killed, so all that kind of land was took. We know that deeds were took from banks, so we know a lot of black people lost homes and lost out on homes and land that's theirs. So it would look like a lot of things. Let's just start there. Reparations would be in land. The government would pay us in land because the government, obviously, they always like to say are in debt, don't have money for these all these things. So the government would give us land as U.S. citizens of this country, recognizing the struggle in the slavery period and also the generational detriment that it caused to a group of people. Like, they talk about Hitler, but Hitler was kind of doing that for a small period of time. Black people have been being targeted for a long period of time. A long period of time. I said a long period of time. And not just on one continent, on several fronts, by several different races. Is almost, it makes us wonder. But I, for one, would not want emotions or anything to stop the truth from being recognized, or from ones being able to recognize and be able to do what they're supposed to do in the positions they are in for our people. And we as our people just need voices. We just need us to demand these things and use our voice to get these things, because for us to have to use our voice to demand what we already know would just us just having to do what we already know we have to do. But it would be better if our country would recognize its people and the struggle that we went through and made that right and did that right. Because it's not like it couldn't be changed. We do all understand when we say those are old times, these are new times, and I don't know. But we do understand some of those old ideas still are in our new times. We still have new people who think in old ways. We know this. We know we still have old systems in place that don't fit new times. We know this. We've already discussed this. We've been over this. So I say that they give us land as a reparation, as the promise finally being fully met and fully fulfilled, and that we use that land to finance our own banks so that we pay our own taxes to build our own communities, so that we pay into having our own insurances, so that we can make sure that we do have the health care that we need, that we do have the things that we need, that we all have a home, that we all have water in places like Flint and Chicago, and they have homes in places like Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, and that we can have these communities that we once had, but in a new modern time, and that we can rebuild and rebrand from the old ways of thinking, because we do understand that this is new times, we have a new mindset. But we all know that God first. God put God first. Pray on these things, speak for these things, positively acquire these things, and be positive about these things. Like, reparations ain't just so we can all get a check, go get Louis out the store, go get a Mercedes Benz, and go get like the Dave Chappelle show that we all know. That's the exact opposite. That would actually be detrimental to us, that we all get the money and then invest into all these things that don't invest into us later on in life or our future generations. That's how we get left out time and time again. That's how they systematically keep us out of the loop. But if we get this land, if they get this land, give us this land that they know we owe, and we can start fresh by rebranding ourselves off of this land and building back the systems we know we need, from education to banking to management, construction, we can build back what we once always was. Great leaders, teachers, doctors, mathematicians, entertainers, but we gotta remember that as well. Entertainment is entertainment. It's entertaining, but life is life. We need schools to teach the young. We need farms to feed our people. We need hospital to take care of our old and sick. We need the working class to be there for the youth and the elders. We need the elders to be there for the younger. These are things we actually really need. We don't need Gucci purses. We don't need Mercedes Benzes. We don't need big mansions. So let me continue on the plan about reparations and I feel like this is the plan. This is the plan. We will get the land. Off of the land, we will be able to finance our own banks, because we will be able to use the land as value to get loans to build the things we need to start a community, from housing to farming to water resources to roads to rebuilding homes and things of that nature, rebuilding school areas, rebuilding school districts, rebuilding hospitals, building hospitals and stuff like that. So that's what we would use the money for. A small amount of the money, I would say about 20,000 will go towards each individual, with a 30% tax and insurance cut. And the tax and insurance cut goes towards us building those things and operating those things. Now, automatically, I want people to understand, free money is always free money. Never get it confused when a person takes a tax or takes a portion of something that they gave you anyway that was free. It's free. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like the nigga who saying like, "Oh, it's only 30%." No, I ain't saying it like that. I know it's 30%. It may seem like a lot. It may be a lot to a lot of people. For $20,000, I understand that a lot of people don't even have 10, don't even have $5,000. So for you to receive a $20,000 and have 30% taken of it, I feel you should be just more than grateful and understand that the rest is going towards generation, wealth generation, trust is generation, communities that are for generations to come. Don't look at this as all, it's not always for now, it's for the future as well. So we would take that to do that, but as well, you have to remember when we have these hospitals, when we have these schools, when we have these buildings, when we have these communities, we're going to need people to do these things and work these things. And people can be paid and employed to do these things. And you just having that money is your startup to be able to either go get a trade and now get the opportunity of getting a job, or you already got the trade, you just need to move over here to go, because this the community you want to start help building, or this the community you want to be in now, this the area you want to be in, or this the area you want to, you know what I'm saying? But we got to do it together. We can't have 15 people trying to just do, you know what I'm saying, 15 clothing stores on the same block type of thing, like just that type of thing. Like, no, if we all coming together, saying farming, for instance, if we going to talk agriculture, let's have 5 big agriculture companies, right? And listen, it don't even got to be 5. It could be 10. It could be 6. It could be 7. However many big, just big ones that focus on main things, right? And let's all share in that wealth. Let's have the wealth pool, and we all pool in the wealth, instead of all trying to become individually rich and then competing with one another. Because that's the same thing as what history has shown us, to lead people to just, I feel, just bad ways and going against each other instead of living in harmony and peace, which is the goal. To live in harmony and peace within ourselves, with our people as African Americans, stressing that because it's too many black people killing black people, and to live back in harmony and peace with the world because there's too many people being afraid of us, or they ain't targeting us and things of this nature. I'm tired of this narrative. I want the narrative to stop from, I don't want nobody targeting black people, but I also don't want black people being targeting other groups and targeting other people aggressively. I don't want to be targeted aggressively. I don't want them targeting other people aggressively. I don't want black people to continue to keep killing black people. I'm tired of always seeing a black brother or a black sister and we always into it, or we gotta worry, we fighting, we this, that, and the third. Let's get back into living in peace and harmony within ourselves individually, so we can all live in peace and harmony. And I feel like just another thing, like, of course, another thing that could come from it is like, why would you get money or get an opportunity to get out of negativity and go back to negativity when you have the opportunity to do better? You at least try. And if we all try together, we all help each other succeed. That's why I feel like the communities is important, and us building it together is important, and us actually getting it together is important. And us, not just us all individually having whatever we have and then it just going to whatever it goes to. Because I'll say it, and I don't want to say it this way, but other groups of people have learned to live like this and do these things that I'm saying and come together and get it done. We just now have to do it because we was behind a little bit because of some things we went through, but we on God's time just like everyone else. Never forget it. It's just time now for us to realize there may not be another time to demand these type of things, because we have so much of our youth being guided by other things, and they almost forgetting about the culture and what being black is, not just on a culture level, but just tradition wise, and we kind of losing our younger generation to disrespect and violence and all these things is going on, and poverty is still evident in our community, still evident in our generations. Our elders are still having, you know what I'm saying, problems with the system and not being able to get the things they need. And it's up to us now to say, like, hey, y'all done all got what y'all need. Y'all been having what y'all had. Ain't nobody gave us what we supposed to got. It's been times where we had everything we were supposed to have. Our families and great grandmamas had houses and things like that, and they took them. It was times where our uncles and them had cars and things like that. KKK killed them. It was times when our people had things and the white people at the bank just stole it. And now this is the time now to be like, okay, the reason why a lot of these things is going on in the black community still to this day is because of these things that took place. They say, they always ask, well, why don't the black dude just get a job? Well, sometimes a 16-year-old in the hood isn't given that opportunity because there's already 20, 30 adults fighting for that McDonald's job in that low income area. So for them to just always throw out things without saying real statistics all the time is really them just ignoring the problem of the truth. Sometimes, if we being technical, that man's father or whoever he was, whether he was a drug dealer, good businessman or whatever, may have got taken off the street. His mom had to now figure out what she had to do on her own. And now they struggling because the system then took out one of the parents. And it's like, they gotta start acknowledging the obstacles that they placing upon us. And they can't say we always placing this upon ourselves. I've never heard of a black man who sells drugs and to ask to go to jail. I'm pretty sure every black man who sells drugs to have money in his pocket. So them narrating it like we doing that to kill our communities or like we trying to hurt our communities is the craziest idea when we actually know that there are companies that make medicines knowing side effects and knowing harm but still put them out and do tests on people with these things. And like, for them to basically just say what they do on us just so the world don't put the blame on them. They just be like, well, the niggas is the reason why the hood is bad. No, we're not. We're really not. We're just standing on corners asking you if you want to buy some weed, my nigga. You either buy it or you don't. Ain't nobody throwing the shit in your pocket and telling you to throw your money on the ground. Ain't nobody robbing you. At least, not all the time. But if you get robbed, then you should kind of like, no, don't go to that area, or you should learn to move in that area in a certain type of way. But that's we ain't got to get into all that. That's not even what we talking about. What we talking about is that we know black people. We've done what we've known. We know we done some things we shouldn't have. But we also know what we're doing and what's being done. We're not dumb. We're not slow. It's not like we don't get it. It's not like we don't understand. You do have to remember back then they thought we were slow or incapable of thinking or being, and they thought we were like monkeys and stuff. But no, we actually do understand how credit works and how land works and all these things. So the fact that they know that we know this, why don't we ever get the land back that was stolen from us or promised to us? Why don't we ever get the government funding that's supposed to come from being a U.S. citizen, or being a citizen in a country, or being a citizen group of people in a country that went through problematic times or that went through troubled times with this country? We actually do know these things. We don't voice them enough. We too busy focusing on what's entertaining, who fucking who, what's funny, because that's who we naturally are. We're cool, individual, entertainers, chill people. But black people, I say this to you all. If I could say one thing to you, we need reparations. It's the only way we can fix our society and rebrand ourselves out of the poverty, violence, crime, negativity, sin, all of the things that are of not us that we don't want. Remember, we were slaved here, right? And trapped in throne scraps, told what our names was and what we would wear, how we would dress, how we would talk, how we would walk, how we would act. And now we live without ever being fully compensated or recognized as an individual group of people in society. Our ancestors, African descent, ancestors of whatever country they were on, we were born on this land as U.S. citizens. Now there is no more discussion about who was here first, or I feel for one, natives should be given more land on this continent than they have. From Canada and, Mexico is Mexico, but Canada too. It being this big mass country that's above. Because we know the Eskimos were probably natives too, and Americans, or natives, whichever one, North Americans, South, or North Americans. Sorry for that little blip right there. But I also feel that black people should be compensated for the unrighteousness that they have endured in this country. Just as Native Americans was, and not fully, but were at least partly compensated for the land stolen from them. I also want to say that with the reparations, we would invest into all those things that we do. You got so many kids out here who want to hoop. You got so many kids out here who play sports. You got so many kids out here who are comedians. You got so many kids out here who's good builders. You got so many kids out here standing on blocks who could be building something, who could be being a doctor, who could be being a lawyer, who could be going to school for something positive, who could be changing the world, who could be researching something, traveling the world for science, traveling the world for politics, traveling the world for government, doing all these things for agriculture. You have so many other fields and so many positive things. We got so many things we could be invested in. It's not just weed, it's not just drugs, it's not just guns, it's not just killing, it's not just beefing and TV. So many other fields we can be investing in each other to help each other grow and help our communities benefit and help our future generations and become a part of society and be working, because we are great people, you know? And I just want to say that to say too, like, we need more black managers involved in these black NBA players' lives, because they obviously not being managed right to help their money be funneled back into their communities and back into their families and back into generational wealth. So many black players are ending their careers broke, or dating these white women and then never being heard from again, and their communities are going back to their communities to actually rebuild them, or, invest into their communities they come from. We need more of that. This is the reason why our money is always leaving our communities, because once someone makes it, they make it out, they go out. Everything they take everything they have out and leave the community just as the hood. Oh yeah, that's the hood. I go back to the hood. Can't change the hood. Those niggas in the hood don't want to change. Yes, they do. You just not giving them the real opportunity to do so. You don't always need to give a nigga a handout. Start a business for them. Let them work the business. Show them how the ropes, how to work the business. Your man that's a little smart with the money, show him how to go to school, pay for his schooling or something. So he can be your money manager or something. Your man's who good in something, put him in some rooms, man. He might be able to talk his way into some doors. You never know what might happen. Stop hating on your man sometimes. Stop being afraid to let your man speak. Stop being afraid to let your man have opportunities. But we also gotta know if things ain't right, we don't need to be doing them, man. I support Ice Cube with that Big Three shit, man. Just one, cause I'm just, bro. I'm tired of the NBA and the NFL scripting shit. Like, I get it, bro. It's a lot of money on the line, a lot of shit gotta get done. It's a lot of storyline, time shit. But I just want to see niggas play basketball, play football. I just want to see niggas play sports. And I get it. I get it. It's a mass thing. It's a lot of people involved, but that's why I support just that Big Three shit too, because it's like, you know, it's entertaining. Just get to see people hoop, but I actually really wish that becomes bigger, because for them people who don't get that opportunity to make it to the NBA but still have the skill set and still love the game and want to actually participate in it, that's a great thing, man. It's a great thing. I feel like we need more leagues like that. Just more leagues like that. Don't even gotta be televised. Just more leagues like that to have more positivity going on in communities. So instead of people linking up and trying to party and shoot out, now people going to events and working out together and cooking together and chilling together and doing positive things together. That way we bring the community back together positively, you know? Because at the same time, that's what I'm saying. When we having these communities and trying to rebuild these communities, like, you gotta remember, they tore down the gardens, they tore down Atlanta projects, they tore down Detroit projects and stuff. They tore down projects everywhere, East Coast, West Coast, right? And they said it because that we turned it into a negative thing, right? But of course, we already know that there was involvement by multiple agencies, multiple people. It's all these different things, right? But what we gotta know is, what are we doing with our time, right? What are we doing with our resources? What are we actually doing here? When we say, all right, we building houses, okay, what else we building around our homes? Instead of lines, are we building gardens? Are we building community gardens so that people actually have a garden and people can go help the garden, and women can go tend to the garden, men can go tend to the garden, kids can go help learn and play and learn in the garden. And then when we having these schools and building these schools, what are we teaching at our schools? Are we just teaching history and the basics of math and science? Or are we actually expressing creativity and helping progress and, you know what I'm saying, teaching knowledge and things and skills? Are we doing the things we need to do righteously with each other? You know what I'm saying? Whether it's business, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, and whether it's just your neighbor. Are we doing that? We need to be making sure of that. That's why we have a network, we have a system. That way, I said this to a friend the other day. I said, and I'm gonna wrap this up fast. I said, so many kids, right, are looking up and not want to do certain things because it's looked at as uncool, or they want to do this thing because it's just the faster way, and that's what people doing right now, right? And I said, it's so many of us that know that 16-year-old don't know that if he just invests that same 8 years, that he might end up investing into the streets if he make the wrong move and end up in jail, or keep going in and out of jail, or just end up not doing nothing with his life. That those 8 years he could have went to school, learned something, got a trade, and by the time them 8 years come up, he would have had a house, the same dream car he thought he wanted if he, you know, really locked in and did these things that we know they can do at a young age, and at a time where, You got so much time and energy, but it's not funneled right. It's not channeled towards positivity. And us as adults, we scrambling to get our lives in order, so we kind of lose sight of our kids and the youth trying to get theirs in order. So we just kind of let them do whatever they do, and then we forget that it's our jobs to be on top of this now more than ever. If you in the 20 to 50 range, it's your time now to be on top of this more than ever. By the time you're 60, 70, yeah, you can chill and just be grateful you made it to that far and still trying to lead the 50s and 60-year-olds to how to maneuver through it, you know? And we gotta be on top of it because the youth really watch and really pay attention, and there's really energy in them to do positive things, but we need to guide them right. We need to make sure that we're doing right and we're right. There's so many things, and I'll get into that later, but I feel like this was a good one, but until reparations come, it won't be done. We need those reparations in order to rebuild our communities. And that's why it started at, I was going to say, like, them Alger Garden communities and all these different communities they tore down. Like, if we had resource centers in these communities with hospitals and schools, resource centers, job centers, and all these different things now in this modern time, we could rebuild our African communities in a positive way. Like, so many brothers and sisters could be doctors, could be lawyers, could be construction workers, could be plumbers, could be electricians, could be businessmen, could be travelers, could be teachers. If we could just rebuild and start fresh by the government recognizing that we went through some systematic things that led us to be challenged in a way that made us stronger, but now we need to take our strength and use it in the right way. This senseless killing, no sense in killing each other. I feel like there's nothing in this world no man should die over. But if you go in a gorilla exhibit and pet a monkey on his head, you pet a gorilla on his head, then, I mean, you ask for that encounter that you're finna encounter. But that's a deep message and simple. So don't be mad if you can't grasp it, because I can't even fully understand it at times. And that's the truth. But we need to stand up, black people, and I hope so many of you hear this. And I'll try to clip this the best I can. I hope I got some positive things. There's more to be said about it. There's a bigger plan for it. I'll definitely be doing another one on it. I think I'll actually probably talk about it on my next one. But thanks.